In this video, I'm going to be talking about Anime Tower Defense's sudden rise on Roblox, why so many are coming out, why they're so popular, and why they're taking over Roblox right now. Before we get into the video, make sure you guys watch to the end so you guys can hear all the reasons why they're taking over, and as well as the good and bad that comes with it. And make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe because we're on the road to 200 subscribers. And let's go right to the video. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about and why Anime Tower Defenses are so popular and taking over right now is the obvious reason, that is gacha. Now, any gacha game is probably going to do at least decent because people are just like addicted to summoning in any game. When it's kind of like gambling, which is another thing I want to talk about later in this video, but summoning itself is basically just like gambling, especially when they add a secret unit to banners. It just makes it like gambling, right? So when people play, they're summoning, they're trying to get mythics, and it's basically just pure gambling. Obviously it's with gems, but it's basically like gambling. There's gacha in so many games nowadays. I mean, in almost every Roblox game nowadays, there's some form of gacha, and that all spawns from Anime Tower Defenses, specifically Anime Adventures and obviously All-Star. You know, it's kind of like an addiction for people. Gacha is just addicting. That's why certain games are popular, like maybe Genshin Impact and those type of games. People in general are just addicted to gacha games because it's when you get the unit, it gives you a hit of dopamine. It keeps you wanting to come back to games and get you gems and grind gems so you can summon for the best units. So gacha is like the main backbone for all Anime Tower Defense games. It's what keeps people playing. It's like the first thing you do when you play any game, and it immediately gives you the dopamine, especially if they have, you know, like units that you actually care to get and characters from shows that you actually like. Now, next thing I want to talk about is like actual gambling, which is obviously trait rerolls, and this is probably the most addictive part of any Anime Tower Defense, and this is really the reason why Anime Adventures was like, it's not the only reason obviously, but it's one of the main reasons Anime Adventures was so popular, is because getting a trait on a unit is probably the biggest hit of dopamine you can get in any game, especially if it's a rare one. It's so rare and it just keeps you coming back. Like, you want to have a way to grind for trait rolls in any Anime Tower Defense, and then when you have them, you're going to spin, and then you're not going to get something that you want, and then you're going to keep coming back because you're going to keep trying to get more. Or alternatively, you can actually spend money, which is the real problem. And a lot of YouTubers kind of influence it because they spend so much on trait rerolls. I personally never buy trait rerolls. I'm broke, but if I did, I could see why it would become addicting, right? Because it's literally gambling, bro. You spend money, you get the trait rerolls, and then you spin until you get the low chance trait that you need for you to be overpowered in the game, right? But obviously you don't have to spend money, so I'm not gonna say like it's actually gambling because you don't have to spend money, right? But it's definitely a reason for why people want to play these type of games. I mean, it's just another type of gacha basically, bro. Any type of gacha is going to give you a crazy dopamine hit when you get what you're trying to get, and it's hard for you to get the currency, especially, which is why, like I said, Anime Adventure specifically, it was so hard to get trait rerolls in that game. There's barely any methods, and the rates were low in that game, so when you did get trait rerolls, you would be wanting to get something, and then obviously you don't get it because the rates are low and trait rerolls are hard to get, and then that would cause people to spend money. Trait rerolls have become such a part of every game, and also the prices for trait rerolls and Anime Tower Defenses are actually crazy. Like 10 trait rerolls for 1,000 Robux. $1 a reroll is crazy, and that's like the main issue I own. That's like the only issue I have with trait rerolls and Anime Tower Defenses is, why does it cost $1 a reroll when you know you're not getting anything good, right? Which is why it spawns the gambling edition, and a lot of YouTubers influence upon the communities when they're spending all their money and like making a whole video that's literally just them spending money. Now, I'm not gonna knock it, do what you gotta do, but that's like one of the main reasons why people keep coming back to Anime Tower Defenses. Now, another reason why Anime Tower Defenses are so popular is because they're low-key just easy. It's literally place a unit, and then obviously the unit does all your work. Now, Anime Vanguards doesn't have this problem. Anime Vanguards, there is difficulty, especially when you're actually trying to get good units. Now, so this isn't really talking about Anime Vanguard specifically, but they're relatively easy games, especially like other games, like the low-quality games that are clearly for cash grabs, which is another problem I'm going to talk about later. But they're relatively easy, so obviously place the unit, upgrade the unit, and then they do all the work for you. Whereas like a Battlegrounds game or whatever would take some skill. This is just easy. Anybody can get on this and play it, right? So all you got to do is literally get a unit, and then you're good. Literally just get a good unit, and then you're good for the entire game, and that's all it really takes. So it's the most accessible game for anybody to play. Anybody can just get on and get good immediately, especially if they have time and a computer. They can easily get good. AFKing is easy in most of these games, and that's really what gets to them a lot of new players. It's like a lot of players that play these Anime Tower Defenses are always going to be new players. And obviously they're retaining their player base because people get addicted to it, and then new players are always coming in because it's so easy and accessible. And obviously when a game looks as good as Anime Vanguards and its highest quality Anime Vanguards, it's going to have a lot of players, new and returning. Now, obviously, like I said, Anime Vanguards has difficulty, but a lot of these lower quality games, and specifically like games that come out and die within a month, those games are easy 95% of the time. Like Special Anime Defense, I like that game a lot actually, but it was so easy, and obviously it was supposed to be a remake of Anime Adventures in the next few updates or something, like the dev said in the Discord. And when games are complete remakes of old games, that's like the most obvious cash grab to me. And there's so many that are literally coming out that are literally just supposed to be Anime Adventures remakes. There's Anime Destiny, Special Anime Tower Defense, Anime Ascensions, Anime Odyssey. I think those two merged, but whatever. There's multiple remakes of the same game, and that just shows you how obvious a cash grab is. Now, I'm not going to hate on those games because they come out and they could be good, but that's just like the most obvious cash grab is when a game is a complete remake of an old game that was popular. Now, another reason why Anime Tower Defense are so popular is because they're just relatively addictive, obviously for all the other reasons I've stated in this video, but another reason they're so addictive is because of things like portals. Now, portals are basically kind of another form of gacha or RNG, whatever, it doesn't really matter what you want to call it, but obviously you place what the hell is that? You get a portal, and then obviously they make you work your way up in the portals, and then in the last tier of a portal you'll be able to get a rare unit, and it's a very low chance. And obviously that's just another form of RNG, which is addicting to people because they usually put the best units in portals, and then you have to keep playing portals over and over and over and over and over and over again. There's been countless times where I've stayed up to like 5 a.m. just purely doing portals. They're addictive, and to me, I kind of find them fun, but obviously that's not the case for everybody. A lot of people don't like the portal grind, but when you play portals, just knowing this is a chance that you can get a unit that will probably become rare and worth something, and that you can trade eventually, just that chance is what makes people come back to these games and continuously play them over and over and over again. And it's what like keeps people playing until the next update, and then they have another thing to grind in the next update, and then I just keep repeating that cycle, especially when they add portals specifically. Portals are probably like the most addicting thing in any Anime Tower Defense other than like trait rerolls. So when games add like something like portals specifically, that's when games really start to get like addictive, because you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again until you get the rare unit, and then by the time you have the rare unit, over and over again until you get the rare unit, and then by the time you have the rare unit, it's most likely close to the next update, and then they add another portal, and then you gotta do that same process over and over again until you get the unit again, and then it just repeats itself. And the last reason I want to talk about is just my opinion. I just personally find Anime Tower Defense fun. Now, I know everybody doesn't find them fun, but I like to play them. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, they're fun. For a lot of people, they're fun. And obviously, if a game's fun, they're going to want to keep playing them and play other versions of them. When one gets dry, they'll go to the other, back and forth. And then, obviously, if the game's fun and they like it, they're going to continue to play, right? So that's the last reason I want to talk about. And now we're going to talk about some of the cons that come with Anime Tower Defense being so popular. Now, the biggest con probably is the alts. You know, the game I'm on right now has a big problem with alts, or at least it used to. I haven't really played this recently, but the alts, you know, in Anime Defenders specifically, bro, you needed alts to be good in this game. You needed to have at least one. A lot of people had 4 alts, and then they would trade everything to themselves. It's like if you didn't spend money on this game, specifically Anime Defenders, you probably weren't going to be too good. Like, you want to get really good, you basically had to buy a game pass and then sell the game pass, and then that's how a lot of people came up in this game. Obviously, you could come up by spending your entire damn life on the game, but ain't nobody doing all that. So the easiest way was to just sell a game pass, and then you'd be good. You'd have like a couple 100,000 gems, and then you could keep making your way up. Now, if you find that fun, I guess I don't necessarily blame you, because I like trading too, but in Anime Defenders specifically, the way to come up was just not good. Like, I shouldn't have to spend money to be good in the game. Now, obviously, like I said, you can spend your entire life doing that, but I'm not spending all that time to get good at this game, and a lot of people just don't have money to spend on Anime Tower Defense. So 4 alt accounts, grinding, trading to themselves every night over and over and over again until they got good. So that just inflated the player count, and then obviously when a game has a lot of players that aren't even like real players, it kind of just turns you off to the game. I feel like it just gives it a bad rep. Like, that's like the main thing people talk about when they talk about Anime Defenders. The other issue I wanted to talk about was the oversaturation. Now, obviously, the big games are obviously better than the lower cash grab games, but there has been an oversaturation since Anime Adventures died, and specifically when Anime Defenders was dominating, there was a lot of lower tier tower defenses that came out. Like, there was like Anime Power Defense, Special Anime Defense, Anime Royale. Anime Royale was actually good, but there was just like a lot of influx of games that happened to come out right before Anime Vanguards came out, and those all died because they weren't good for real. People were only playing them because they needed an alternative to Anime Defenders, and they wanted something that was going to give them the same feeling as Anime Adventures, and nothing did until Vanguard. So there's just a lot of clear cash grab games that came out that nobody cared about, and they just wanted to play so they could get the easy dopamine from playing a new Anime Tower Defense, and especially one that would remind them of Anime Adventures, even if it was low quality. And something else I want to talk about was like people are saying that anime tower defenses are ruining Roblox, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically because I've seen a few YouTubers talk about that. It's like no hate to them or anything, but like a lot of people have been saying that, and I kind of understand where they're coming from, because in anime tower defenses, it is kind of like you want to spend money. A lot of people want to spend money. I don't personally spend money, but a lot of people do, and that can be an issue, especially with how many players they have. And you know, it is kind of addicting, and it kind of influences gambling a little bit with trades and all that. Like I said, not anything like crazy, like I don't see like it as like a huge issue, but like I could see why people would have a problem with that. But a lot of people have a problem just purely because there's a lot of them, which I don't really understand, because there's so many battleground games that have come out and gone, and nobody really seems to complain about it when there's an oversaturation of those, especially because there's like so many that aren't even like high quality at all. Like there's so many battleground games that come out that aren't like particularly good at anything, and then there's so many bandit beaters that come out that are complete reskins. I don't see anybody complain about those when those come out, but when it's anime tower defense, everybody wants to complain for some reason. But I understand where they're coming from, especially because obviously if you don't find them difficult, you don't find them fun, and then you just see gambling and how many players they have, I can understand why you'd say that. Me personally, I don't have too big of an issue with it, but I don't really understand why people have a problem with there being oversaturation of these but not other games. Alright guys, that's gonna be the video. Those are all the reasons why anime tower defenses are becoming so popular and taking over Roblox. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're on the road to 200 subscribers. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Later.